Let's go into binders. So this is where the magic happens. Like you said, you may need to do some work on the gut first. We may come in and help support the adrenals because detoxification, it is work and it's not easy. And you can get worse by trying to make yourself better. And I've certainly
Yeah.
overdone it on binders. I've certainly overdone it with glutathione and had a bad headache for a long time. So that wasn't fun.
Yep.
So the good news is you can pull this stuff out of the body. And in regards to zearalenone, some of the most effective binders are going to be your clays. Now, charcoal can help a little bit. So we often use like a broad spectrum. You can come in and spot treat. And there are certain people that say you need to spot treat mold toxins, meaning you need to use charcoal for ochratoxin, you need to use zeolite clay for zearalenone. But the truth is, a lot of people are not showing up with the true amount of mycotoxins on their first urine sample, meaning you may just show up with ochratoxin, but you also may have zearalenone. But if you're a bad detoxifier, you may not be urinating out all of those toxins. Therefore, I do kind of spot treat, if you will, but I still like to use broad spectrum, full spectrum binders just because of this issue. Because what will happen is on a retest, maybe we took care of one toxin and then a new one shows up. We're like, well, crap, we could have been addressing the other mycotoxin. Say we were just using charcoal for ochratoxin. We could have been using a little bit of zeolite clay as well, and that would have took care of the zearalenone. But boom, now zearalenone shows up on the retest. Now we've got a whole new mycotoxin to focus on. So long story short, full spectrum, broad spectrum, and multiple binders are what we like to use. And then I'm a huge fan of the micronized chlorella. There's a couple brands we use. They have a liquid chlorella that can be amazing. There are some tablets of broken cell wall chlorella that can be awesome for heavy metals as well. And then sweating. I mean, I tell you, I feel much, much more clear, clarity mentally right after I get out of the sauna. You can have like a detox Herx reaction from a sauna as well. But if you're healthy enough and you're supporting adrenals, you're doing electrolytes, to me, a sauna is a game changer. And even just a hot bath, if you don't have access to a sauna, even if you just get hot enough to sweat in the tub, that may be a little too hard on someone if you're weak adrenally, like your constitution is weak. But or if you have blood pressure issues, a hot bath may make you feel bad. But if you can do it and you can sweat, it's free compared to a sauna may cost you $1,000 minimum.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can always add in some, really good magnesium salts like Epsom salts, which can be very helpful and relaxing for you as well. So yeah, so the problem is a lot of the binders that we may add in, or if it's necessary to add them in, they could also decrease or cause bowel motility issues. So if you already have a lot of bowel issues, this is why it's so important that we kind of deal with the hierarchy. And a lot of times the gut needs to be fully addressed and working so we can have good detoxification, because the gut is so important hepatobiliary wise, liver, gallbladder. It dumps a lot of those bile and toxins that are mixed in with the liver and the gallbladder back into the intestines, and it has to move out. And so we give maybe things like Evan mentioned, various pectins or activated charcoals or clays or fulvic minerals to bind up a lot of these things. But if we have really slow motility, it could really jack up with our absorption of nutrition and a reabsorption of other toxins. We want to make sure our bowels are still moving. So some people may not be able to handle that. And also, you kind of alluded to getting a false negative on some of these urinary mold tests. That's why it's very important that you probably do 1 to 2 weeks worth of glutathione ahead of a urinary mold test to make sure we're adequately dumping it. Because people, their detoxification may be so weak, they may not be dumping it. They may look to that mold test. Hey, look, I'm good, but you may not be. So I do a week or two. And I tell patients that if you are really feeling crappy during that loading phase, you probably have some level of toxins. It may not just be mold. It could be other pesticides or metals or other things in the environment you're dumping. But it's always good to do that load period. And if you feel too sick or just too icky during that time frame, feeling lethargic, malaise, achy, brain foggy, moody, it's probably not the right time to do any testing yet. Maybe you want to wait a little bit longer, get things moving better, and test the home, see what's happening in the home, and wait a little bit more till everything's working better on the detoxification side. Just getting your diet better, decreasing your inflammation, improving your nutrient density. Surprisingly, that actually moves the needle a lot. And then you can always add in some gentle sweating protocols like Evan mentioned as well.